I've often claimed that Antonio Margheriti, with 1961's Battle of the Worlds, he conjured this space opera vision, this sci-fi film vision with these sets, performers, VFX, and camera trickery, crafting a vision which was superior to a fair number, maybe even a vast number of the 1950s decade efforts. Not necessarily all of them, although what he did was even films like Forbidden Planet, the last third of This Island Earth, or pictures such as 4D Man. In terms of actual futurism or conquest of space, they relied on these big sets and very sterile but vivid painted walls around everyone. Battle of the Worlds, it feels more lived in. The sets are more minimal and they disguise the budget, and yet you feel like you're walking around an environment at times, mainly due to the camera angles, compared with some of the work in Byron Haskin's Conquest of Space, wherein they're filming a corner of a room, very, not, from a very obvious camera angle. Or you could say the same thing about Forbidden Planet to some degree, not as strong as you could about Conquest of Space, or about the final third there of This Island Earth. Battle of the Worlds isn't perfect, although it accomplishes some degree of realizing Margheriti's talent for sometimes the peers of or the superiors to Hollywood productions due to his eye for realizing genre immersion and satisfaction via very specific kind of particular disguising photography. His camera placements and his ways of photographing a pulpy genre set, very nice. He's spectacular at elevating lower budgeted productions into films which, at least via Blu-ray transfer, seem a lot more sophisticated than they would be otherwise as acts of filmmaking. Now, of course, you have to start somewhere. This is not 1961's Battle of the Worlds, it's 1960's Assignment Outer Space. This does not necessarily look better than a lot of 1950s films. It may look the better of 1950s Rocket Ship XM, but man, this might look worse than that same 1950s Destination Moon. But this film didn't have George Powell in its production. Battle of the Worlds had more of the follow-up to this film had more of a budget. I assume they were able to get Claude Rains. Maybe Claude Rains wasn't doing anything at that time. So that's the true origin story of Margheriti's work elevating genre films. The next entry of Margheriti's filmography after Battle of the Worlds is 62's The Golden Arrow, spectacular, sort of fantastical, Arabian Nights-esque sort of epic odyssey, flying carpets and genies and all that. Very nice Technicolor piece, and is presumably a much lesser budget than Hollywood. It looks as though, and it's seamlessly kind of operating in those parameters. But Assignment Outer Space? Nah, not really.